maybe you have noticed there's been a serious uptick in news of the gubernatorial race. There have been a lot of stories this past week about Governor Perry and Senator Hutchison, and it's easy for the casual observer to think that that's pretty well all we got going on the Republican side of things for the Republican primary in March, to see who's going to go up against a Democrat to either keep Rick Perry in office or maybe offer him up a successor. Well, you'd be wrong about that, because Debra Medina is also running for governor. And I started to get emails about her, and I'd write people back and I'd say, wow, this is a tough nut to crack. I mean, running up against one strong incumbent is one thing. When that incumbent is challenged by somebody with the star power of K. Bailey Hutchison, oh my gosh, it's even harder to get a slice of the pie, which makes me certainly admire, if nothing else, the ambition of Debra Medina. It's a pleasure to welcome you, ma'am. How are you doing?
Good morning, Mark. Fine, thank you.
Nice to have you. We got two big things we got to do, and then we'll get into some serious issues. Sort of what you've been doing in your life, and we'll do that in a second. But first, tell me if I'm wrong. I would presume you wouldn't be running if you thought that either Governor Perry or K. Bailey Hutchison was a perfectly fine Republican option.
That's absolutely accurate.
So tell me, let's go one by one. Let's start with the incumbent. What's the matter with Governor Perry?
I think Governor Perry has let us down on education, health care, illegal immigration, the business margins tax, property tax, elimination, the list goes on.
How's he let us down on education?
You know, 2 sessions ago, we were under direction by the court to revamp education in Texas, and we were promised property tax reform to do that. I don't think anybody's property taxes have gone down. We've shifted the tax around a little bit, and yet so we've kind of played with the money. We haven't done anything with the outcomes, and I think most of us are concerned about the tremendous dropout rate that we've got in the state of Texas. SAT scores, the lack of vocational training. There's just a number of things that I think we're concerned about in the public education arena.
What out of that list of things, I hear this a lot in every campaign, what exactly does a governor do to improve SAT scores and the dropout rate?
I think the thing that governors lead and champion policies and ideas, and we ought to be looking at those principles that Republicans claim to believe: limited government, free market. So let's drive some free market ideology back into the public education arena in Texas.
Well, that's great, but I mean specifically, what does a governor do to improve SAT scores and the dropout rate?
You put the free market back in so that there's competition and the quality of the education goes up. That innovation of the people begins to play rather than the monopoly.
Gotcha.
We'll see those outcomes improving.
All right. The governor's flaws on health care.
2 things really, I think, hurting Texans on health care. The first one probably derives, at least in its current form, back to about 1986 when the Congress passed EMTALA. EMTALA was intended to stop dumping patients from hospital to hospital, and instead what it did was open the door to mandatory charity care. It's not the government's job to tell a doctor or hospital or anybody else that they have to provide charitable services. Kind of undermines charity. We should have taken a state sovereignty fight on that EMTALA issue. I'm going to be looking at that and working with the candidates and the Attorney General to look at how Texas can stand up and push back the federal government on those EMTALA laws. Secondly, in the state of Texas, we've legislated a bunch of mandates in the neighborhood of about 75 that double health care cost in Texas, health insurance, not health care, health insurance cost in Texas. So we've got both opportunities at the federal level and at the state level to be able to make some changes in health care that would provide lower cost and better accessibility to people.
Debra Medina with us, running for governor. All right, for those looking to return Governor Perry to private life, there's certainly a high wattage opponent there in K. Bailey Hutchison. Again, stipulating you wouldn't be running if you thought she was a thoroughly wonderful alternative. So what's the matter with Kay?
Kay, I think, has been in Washington for a long time, and we've seen her influenced by that oligarchy that seems to have swept through Europe and created the European nation and now comes to our country, and all of a sudden we've seen we've seen this gradual thing I think many of us have been concerned about, but boy, it sure ramped up last fall when we had the first bailout, and members of Congress seemed to be confused about the proper role of government and weren't able to understand, weren't able to vote at least, that federal government doesn't have any business bailing out companies that are in trouble. So now, as a result of that, we've seen the nationalizing of our banking industry and our credit industry and our automobile industry, and we're trying to nationalize health care. Kay's a part of all of that. She voted for that first bailout.
Well, on the bailout, you're quite correct about that, and she's going to get her chops busted on that. When she voices her staunch opposition to Obamacare, you don't believe her?
I think that, what most of us are frustrated about is the political expediency of most of our candidates. And we need leadership. We ought to be judging all of our candidates on the fruit of their life, the action that they've taken. And we've just not seen, I think, things here in Texas that we're looking for out of her as a senator.
So you believe that so her fairly popular participation in the chorus against Obamacare, you doubt its sincerity?
Who's not against Obamacare? That's a pretty easy place to be if you're a Republican, is against Obamacare.
Right.
Show me something that you've done. Where were you on EMTALA? Where are you on all of the other overreaching micromanagement of things outside of the Constitution? Where have you led on those issues?
I have an idea, because it needed to be done, and you've done it handsomely. Because the first thing, it's like, what? We got two people running. What's the problem with those? How about can you hang with us for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Because let me take the break, and let's come back, and let's actually do Debra Medina the favor of asking her what she thinks, rather than just what's wrong with the other people. Debra Medina, running for governor. The website, let me get this right, is medinafortexas.com, correct?
That's correct.
Very good. Debra and I back in a moment on News Talk 820 WBAP.